Hello and welcome to this video. In just a couple of moments, I will appear and we will start the stream. We do this every week and you can hop on the Zoom chat and I will always put the link as the first comment. These videos are done for free and they are supported by donations. So options for donation are also in the comment. Got it. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Dante. I channel the Pleiadian Council, do astrology, coaching, yoga, plant medicine, many different things, combining many different streams of healing and wisdom into a way that I can support you in finding your own path as well. Thanks for tuning in. Every week on Thursday, we do this public channeling session with the Pleiadian Council, who are an extraterrestrial group consciousness who support us in this process of evolving our psychic abilities, our soul development, our spiritual and emotional integrity. And it's a powerful offering I've been sharing for some years now. I also offer a channeling course, and I do that in groups and one-to-one with people. At this time, I'm doing it more one-to-one and working with people over some months in really helping them hone in their intuitive healing abilities, which of course comes from doing the work of your own healing and taking these skills to kind of work on yourself. So it's kind of like a self-work practice that leads you into learning how to channel and apply these healing modalities for other people. If you're interested in doing that, you can contact me. And of course, I do one-off sessions where we can kind of look at some of the areas of your life or even your health that you want to transform and how you can connect deeper with your own guides. So that's what I offer, as well as astrology readings. And you can contact me. Website is dantestarshine.com. I have an email list as well on that site. If you put your email in, I will send an update every week about these calls and other things that might be popping up. You have to apparently make sure that the emails are not going into the spam folder or the promotions folder. So you can click on some feature within whatever your email browser is to bring those into the main folder. And oh yeah, there's a private session tomorrow. Right now, we're doing it. I've been doing it every other Friday. However, I think that we're going to change it to Monday. So the following, in 2 weeks from now, it might be on Monday, as long as that works for everybody. There's some people who come to those pretty regularly. So just want to confirm that that time will still work, but it's going to work better for me in my new schedule, having recently arrived in Mexico. I apologize. Last week there was a lot of background sound and I just was not sure of where to go to get the right internet connection. And I ended up in that place as I had just arrived at that point. So now I think I have a clear idea of what to do and where to go. And we're just going to see how it works in this location today. And from here on, hopefully it will work out pretty well. So anyway, the private channeling session that will take place tomorrow is more of a closed container, as all of these questions are shared on YouTube. So there's some, 200-300 people that watch these videos at this point. So the private stream is not shared, and you can maybe go deeper into some areas that would feel a bit too vulnerable to be in that space. And also, there's a lot of changes taking place in our world right now, and the private transmissions kind of formed initially as a way to talk about some of the things that we cannot talk about on platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram due to the policies of regulating the truth. So that's also an option. If you have questions that might not fit into this space, the Pleiadian Council will say very clearly what we can and cannot do, just to the nature of wishing to keep our platform on YouTube. I think I've said all the things at this point. So in the context of this space, when you can ask any question that you would like, and whenever the person before you is finished, maybe allow a couple seconds, not too long, of course, because there's no official queue. It just kind of happens when people hop in. So when you're ready to unmute yourself, you can ask your questions, or you can type the questions into the Zoom chat or the YouTube chat, and somebody will read them out loud. I encourage you to come onto at least microphone. Whether or not you want to be on video is up to you. But when we interact live, it gives more of a space for there to be kind of clarifying questions that can really fine tune the answer and feedback and transmission that you receive with your question and interaction. If I'm forgetting anything, somebody might want to remind me, but I think I've covered all the bases pretty thoroughly. Oh, and donations. Donations, thank you. Yeah, donations support the space. If you would like to donate, you can contribute a couple dollars or more, whatever feels appropriate for you, and whatever you feel this is worth. You can go, the links are already there on the YouTube chat. I'll put them in the Zoom chat too, and that supports me in continuing to offer this. And also, yeah. Okay, so if that's everything, I think it is. Let's get started.
Awesome.
Of course, happy 11/11. It wasn't planned that Thursday landed on 11/11, but it fits pretty well. So I hope you enjoy this transmission today.
I gotta poke you for the co-host, by the way.
Yeah, I'm also looking over at the bathroom, like I need to do that before I sit for 2 hours. So I'm gonna be right back.
Okay.
Hey Josh, hey everyone, how you been?
Hey Lucas, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you again.
Same here, man. Lots of energy your way.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey Amanda, Angela, Michael.
Happy 11/11.
Yeah.
Thank you. You too. You all feeling that surge of energy?
Yeah. I think because it's Veterans Day, it's why I feel the surge to a degree, I guess, but I don't know.
I imagine there's gonna be an interesting shift too. Every time there's events like that, like New Moon, 11/11, it's just surprising how it just activates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Welcome back.
Thank you. All right. So enjoy the transmission, and I'll see you guys in a little while. hello, and we say a good day to you this moment of your time. As the Pleiadian Council, we speak on behalf of the Galactic Alliance and also your own guides, angels, ascended masters, beings wishing to reach out to you as a collective and as individuals. We open the space for you to connect with your own higher dimensional potential and your own higher self, knowing that this may support your world and our world and all that is in expanding and integrating more of source consciousness. So it's our thanks to each and every one of you for co-creating and making these transmissions and this expansion possible for all that is. Today, we will speak about synchronicity and meaning as a means to open up the transmission at this time. So, again, the simplest message that we bring forth, and many other extraterrestrial consciousnesses like ourselves bring to you, is the understanding of the formula, which is the engine behind what you call ascension. It is to follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on particular outcomes. And now, part of the way that you know the formula is working, you could say, is through the synchronicity that you manifest as a result. Synchronicity happens when you are seemingly in the right place at the right time. When all of a sudden you feel excited to go out and take a walk and go to a particular area, and on the way you meet a person that adds some cooperative components to the manifestation or the integration of whatever energies you're calling in to your reality. Unknowingly, that person was on the path that passion was calling you in the direction of. Now, synchronicity also shows you, in a sense, when you are not following the formula, as in when you do something not because you are excited to do it, but because you are, in a sense, avoiding your passion or listening to the voice of your inner fears rather than your inner desires, then you manifest an obstacle, a negative interaction, a loss. This synchronicity is there to show you that that particular action, and most importantly, the belief that inspired that action, is out of alignment. So when you come to understand the difference between positive and negative synchronicities, you can know instantly whether or not you are actually following the formula. And this isn't to say that every time you follow the formula, the results will be good. Because again, part of the formula is learning lessons that help you undo negative beliefs and integrate positive attitudes. So there is a big difference, however, between learning a lesson and generating a negative synchronicity. For example, negative synchronicities that happen very often for you happen in a way that is, in a sense, just as logical as it is metaphysical. When you are under the spell of a negative belief, you tend to act impulsively with great haste that negative belief creates false senses of urgency, lack, or inadequacy that cause you to behave in erratic and impulsive ways. And when you do this, the natural result is that things are lost, things are broken, or that you embarrass yourself. And because the negative belief has a certain pattern to it, it has a rhythm to it, there's a sort of groove that it has created over time, you will find that you might lose or break the same thing or embarrass yourself in a similar way again and again when you fall under the spell of that negative belief. That synchronicity is a message for you to look at that negative belief. So when you experience recurring negative manifestations, that is a synchronicity. And the understanding of a negative synchronicity in your life leads you to the positive experience of breaking yourself free from the belief that keeps you trapped in its spell. So you must look at all of the patterns that repeat recurringly in your life and ask yourself, what am I believing about myself to be true that leads me to feel the way that I'm feeling when I make decisions that lead me to that type of an outcome? So that is an added part to this question that we encourage all of you to ask as much as you can. That first part again is, what am I believing about myself, or sometimes about reality, about the world, that is causing me to feel this particular way? When you have that curious attitude about the perspective that you are entertaining that is generating your perceptual reality, you are able to, again, take ownership of the creation of your reality and your experience of it. So that additional question is, again, what am I believing about myself that would lead me to feel the way that inspires an action that leads me to the same negative outcome? Thus, you are then able to connect the belief with the behavior, with the outcome, and understand that they are, in a sense, one and the same. That they are intertwined and will always come together. You can understand the same thing from positive synchronicities, that the positive outcomes that you generate in your life are the result of following the formula, of having a positive attitude and a state of true non-resistance and non-insistence that leads you in a positive direction and allows you to manifest that outcome that was seemingly auspicious, serendipitous, or magical. By coming to discern the difference, you then are able to master the experience of manifesting your reality. Now, we can also speak about meaning and synchronicities. As you give reality what you consider meaning. And this has the potential to both cause you great power, empowerment, and wonder, love. It also has the power to diminish your strength and distort your experience. Let's first talk about the levels of energy that are beyond the meaning that you create, to clarify it, to distinguish it from the layers of meaning you add on. Thus, we've already spoken about this. This is about positive and negative energy. Positive energy, thus being what connects, what brings you experiences of love, what allows you to experience yourself as a part of all that is, and establish alliances with other beings, human or non-physical, who are thus themselves part of all that is. So negative energy is what divides, what separates, what disconnects. And you need both of these energies in order to maneuver through your life. The negative gives contrast to the, so that you can better understand the positive and vice versa. And while you are, of course, wanting to be in that positive state more of the time, you can only get there through mastering the third state of energy, neutrality. As neutrality is what allows you to hold positive and negative energy simultaneously and be unaffected by either, and thus master your ability to choose between positive and negative energy. Without neutrality, you, in a sense, become trapped by your own resistance to negativity and insistence on positivity. So in order for any of these teachings to be truly mastered, you have to fully integrate this neutral energy. Now, you can tell if a synchronicity is positive or negative for you by the way that it brings you to feel. And there are also many other layers of subtle synchronicities. These are when you happen to notice recurring number patterns, when you happen to notice that something that you were pondering then manifests before you, when you happen to notice an aspect of a conversation you are having again shows up in another way in a later moment. And these synchronicities are the ones that might challenge you in the area of how you create meaning about events. Of course, the synchronicity of generating a positive connection will always be experienced as positive, and the synchronicity of losing, breaking, or harming something in some way will be a negative outcome. But these small signs are, in a sense, always neutral. Yet, your interpretation of them can lead you in a positive or a negative direction. So, in order to master reality even deeper, you have to understand that beyond all else, reality is more fundamentally neutral than it is positive or negative. But again, in neutrality, you are offered the choice between positive and negative energy. Therefore, with the aspect of choice being present, it is slightly more positive than negative. Just slightly. Because, again, with that choice being present, it is in a sense, very natural that almost all will choose positivity when they realize there is a choice. And hence, we have described at times that love is ultimately the awareness of choice. And to bestow unconditional love to yourself and others, a key foundation is that you are aware you have a choice. Thus, when interpreting the events of your life, you must be aware that you are choosing how you see certain things. When you see that same number again and again, yes, it is happening mechanically because your mind, your consciousness is attuned to that manifestation. You have, in a sense, studied it, invested in it, and as a way of showing you that all is interconnected, your reflective mirror of reality shows you that that thing that was interesting or exciting for you continues to show up again and again. Beyond that reflective mirror showing you simply the interconnectedness of all things, you have a choice as to whether or not seeing it in that particular time is positive or is negative. And oftentimes these little signs can be a bit of both. When you pay attention to your frequency in the moment of those manifestations, you can notice, is that sign a warning in a sense? Is it pointing you to the understanding that you are then in a negative state and you can choose otherwise? Or is it informing you that you are in a positive connective state and that this is a choice you are making that you might wish to continue to choose? So in order to fully interpret all of these events and happenings, then be aware that you assign the meaning to it and that you can create any kind of meaning that you would like. There is potential challenge and even danger in using this understanding to attempt to portray something as negative as positive. There are, yes, positive outcomes to every negative situation through the experience of integrating lessons. You can find positive outcomes and positive aspects of everything that is negative, though you want to remain aware that that manifestation was still, in a sense, negative. It simply has positive aspects. And it is, again, that neutral attitude that allows you to, in a sense, be reflective of all that is, as all that is neutral. And through, in that sense, embodying all that is, you see every single aspect of the situation to have the whole picture rather than simply fragmented parts of the thing itself. And thus it is when you are able to include the entire picture, the entire perspective, all of the details, all of the aspects of any given situation, that you will be able to elevate your consciousness to higher states, to perceive higher dimensions, and to generate the sorts of outcomes you prefer much quicker and easier than you would be able to do when you are very selective in your focus, and when you are giving your power into belief systems that say certain synchronicities and signs are always good or are always bad. You can understand then that you are co-creating with the universe And that is the final thing that we will add some additional information on in this understanding, is that the signs that you see are so much about the information moving through your own physical mind. What you study, what you read, what you watch, the notions you entertain all become a part of the vortex of your manifestation. Thus, the information that you take in becomes the subtle energy that you take in as well. And this is why it is very important to be very particular with the choices you make about the information you take in, the conversations that you have, the people that you engage with, the ideas that you engage with. Because by taking in any energy that is in a sense fear-based, that itself becomes a part of your field of manifestation for pulling in potentially negative synchronicities. So what you experience as synchronicity is dependent upon all of the information you put in. And you can trust that as you study any given area of life, that the experience of life itself and the ways that you follow your passion leading you into peak states of experience or channeling states, which is the inevitable outcome of following the formula. In these states, you are in a multi-dimensional awareness in which you go beyond the limitations of time and space, and you are able to perceive with, in a sense, your higher mind, and download through your higher mind to your physical mind new integrations of all of the information that has worked through the physical mind, and create connections between all of those areas of understanding so that you have a truly more holistic perspective. We hope this transmission has been clear and helpful in supporting you in mastering the ways that you create your reality and your experience, and understanding the signs, and also understanding that you yourself create the meaning behind the signs on a certain level. Our thanks to you, and now we ask, how can we be of support and assistance for each of you today?
Well,
Hello.
thank you. Oh, go for it.
Hi, thank
Hello,
you.
yes.
Hi, Pleiadian Council, and thank you, Josh. So I have created. Well, you have talked about these things, and I think well, it touches me, and I hope you can help me.
Yes.
Something has come into my life again in indirect ways, and this something is actually somebody who I have banned from my life and from my heart. And synchronicity had it that this somebody's girlfriend contacted my boyfriend, and they didn't know who any of us is. And she asked him if they would start a project together. And a few days later, we found out that this is the new girlfriend of my ex-boyfriend, and this relationship has never been resolved. And it took 6 years on and off, and it left me scarred. And of course, it wasn't, for him, it was also not a good relationship. But there were so many things that I never understood, the way he treated me and so on. And my whole wound is there again. The pain is back again. My hatred is back again. Everything is back. And my boyfriend and I had a rough time now because of these issues. I didn't know how to deal with it. So I hope you can help me get to a resolution because I need it. It eats me up inside.
Yes. So are you able to sit with those emotions and feel them and ask yourself that question, what am I believing about myself to be true that leads me to feel this particular way?
Do you mean, can I do it now or can I do it in general? Because I thought I have done it many times and there is a lot of pain still. It's so much. Maybe I didn't really touch it yet. I don't know. It has been 8 years
You have
ago.
been doing it. So what conclusions have you come to? What beliefs have you become aware of?
Since it was so hard for me to never get the possibility to talk to him again. And I don't know, I came to the conclusion that he's simply an asshole. Sorry. So
That's all right.
yeah.
But that is not a belief about yourself.
Yeah,
belief about, that is
hurtful
perspective about
belief
the
about
other.
myself, or the hurtful question that I am posing is, why has he treated me like this? And apparently he is not like this to other people in his life. That is at least what I believe. And I cannot come to any conclusion.
All right.
It
So
hurts so much.
in this belief, it is essentially something along the lines of, I create painful situations in relationships, or people take their pain out on me more than they would on others.
Again, please. I didn't understand that.
The perspective you are holding is something along the lines of, people take their pain out on me, but not on others.
Their pain. Okay. Yes. Maybe. Yes.
And
but in a I cannot even I'm asking myself if he is evil actually, and if he is so, is he still evil now, or this is so hard for me to understand this.
Well, this situation, which you can describe as abusive, will leave, as you said, an emotional scar. And there are many ways to heal from this. And first of all, it comes with a great degree of self-compassion and willingness to feel all of the emotions, willingness to accept what has been and accept the way that you have been wronged. And you can, in a sense, create an attitude of thankfulness by understanding that now, from this experience, you know many different signs as to lead you to conclude that somebody might be an abuser or very negative, and you can choose earlier into it to disconnect from potentially hurtful individuals. Now, with the perspective that this person was hurtful to you but is not hurtful to others, you can come to understand on some level that every relationship is a co-creation. And there are, in a sense, components within you that are the match for components within him that create a toxic dynamic. And understand that he was not the first person in your life to treat you this particular way.
Can I say something at this point?
Yes.
So my parents have passed away 2018, so they are not on my physical plane where I can, and so I remember that in my childhood, first of all, I come from a dysfunctional home. My father had an alcohol addiction, and my mother well, I'm an only child, and she, in that time when I was little, had anger issues, and she probably felt overwhelmed and left alone by my father too often, and frustrated. And anyway, she didn't know how to process her feelings, and sometimes she wouldn't talk to me for hours, or she would be very emotionally abusive. And
Yes.
she never apologized. And of course, yes, I talk a lot with my parents, as you know, I guess. And yeah, so, well, this is what I remember, and maybe it has to do with this, I don't know.
Yes, that's what we were going to next, is that the impression that they have left from their emotional abuse has left within you certain belief systems about yourself that keep you in a negative state. And that energy field generated by these beliefs attracts repeat performances of the same dynamic. So this is what we mean through negative synchronicity, in a sense, that this has left a pattern that subconsciously attracts a similar dynamic, the same vibration, a second time. And thus, you are not only healing the way that this individual you were once in a relationship with treated you, you are healing from the way that your parents have treated you as well. But understand that, again, you cannot necessarily heal by looking to the past. You heal by looking at how the past is alive in the present. Thus, you are going beyond time when you truly engage in healing. So there are tools that you can do to relive past situations with him and with your parents, to get in touch with those emotions deeper, and know that, again, you are in your process. As you are healing these emotions, you have to feel them. So while it is not pleasant to be in these challenging states, you are healing very much every time you allow your emotions to be present. And to truly integrate now, you have to develop a new attitude of self-love for yourself, and an inner strength that knows so much of your own worth, validity, and power, that if another person in any way invalidates you, degrades you, or abuses you, you know, first of all, that what they are saying to you is not true, and the behavior you are receiving you don't deserve, and that any love this person might offer you in the future is not real in the now. So all that you can do is disconnect from those energies. And
yeah,
thus,
we haven't had any connection since 8 years.
yes. So, but have you engaged with any other people who remotely treated you in a similar way since then?
Not that I remember.
All right. So this transformation is leading you, and has been leading you, away from those toxic energies. And to truly conclude the cycle of healing, again, you have to have that new attitude about yourself that shows you and brings you to feel how worthy you are. Because again, another person cannot hurt you by saying that you are unworthy, or pointing to that, if you don't believe that to be true at some level already.
The funny thing is that really lots of emotions broke to surface, and really, really from all those years ago, and other things connected with this that I didn't even consciously connect, but my unfulfilled wish to become a mother, then my fears of becoming a mother, that I have lost a child once, that this particular person that I have banned from my life had promised me a family, blah, 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 that he has a family now, blah, 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 blah. Wow. I even lost track of my thought now. Sorry. I'm really emotional. Hi.
That is all right. We did not know we were not on the video any longer. Anyway. So
what I wanted to say, sorry, now I found my track of thoughts, was that I was calling myself, and I don't know where this comes from, that I felt all this, I could only see the negative, and I know my life was not negative, all negative, it wasn't, but I felt the loss so much. I felt all those losses so much. And I told myself I'm not worthy of having a child. It's crazy. I know it's crazy, but I'm 41 years old now, and from this perspective, I could not come into the neutral, which you were talking about. It was hard for me. I'm in a better place now. Yes. But it's still very fresh, all of this.
So you can now come to that understanding that what you are feeling is not what happened, but the belief that you were unworthy that was brought to the surface through all of these experiences. This belief is what unites all of these negative emotions. And by undoing the belief system itself, those same kinds of emotional experiences will not be possible any longer.
Can you repeat that, please?
When you dismantle the belief system that you are unworthy and you see that to be ridiculous, you can come to understand and integrate your inherent worth. Mm-hmm. While this past relationship is now acting like a trigger for all of these emotions, the emotions are not present because of the relationship. They are present because that belief in your unworthiness is still there and was, in a sense, exacerbated or made worse by the relationship itself. Mm-hmm. It was a trigger to activate that belief system. In a sense, this belief system has been in the background since your childhood. Mm-hmm. And while it feels very hard right now, the truth is you are in a different time and space. You are free from the people that would take advantage of you due to the fact that you believe you're unworthy. And this is actually the most powerful time to dismantle the belief and integrate the understanding that you are worthy. And when you do that, you will be free from these emotions and you will be able to have the experiences you desire because you will believe that you are worthy of them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I will listen to this again.
All right. And continuing on that note, look for all of the evidence that you are worthy. Mm-hmm. If you were not worthy, why would you even exist, for one? Look to all of the connections you have, all of the possessions that you have, all of the capability that you have as proof that you are worthy. Because, again, these beliefs in unworthiness are fundamentally not true, and they're the most toxic and common belief systems in your world. In a sense, it requires you to rebel against the way that you have been conditioned and the way that your world works. in order to believe in your own worthiness. So notice again any area of life that triggers a sense that you're unworthy. Know that that is not necessarily the area where you will heal. So tapping into your worthiness means to, again, own you're deserving of all that you have and all that you can generate, and to start to value your own gifts and your own passion, and realize that as an aspect of this world, you deserve all of the goodness of this world, as does everyone. It is only those that believe in their worthiness of it that then are able to come to experience it. So you must cultivate that sense of worthiness first, and then the rest will come.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Blessings.
Yes, our thanks and love to you as well.
That's amazing, Council. We have a question
Yes.
from the chat.
All right.
It is, you said recently that choice is the clearest manifestation of unconditional love in this world. Can you expand on that, please?
Yes. So this particular universe is created with the intention of unconditional love. Again, all that is and source created many different universes. We live in a multiverse. Not all universes are created with the same intention. Not all universes operate under the principle of free will. Free will thus means you are able to choose of all potential pathways. You are able to choose between positive and negative energy. And thus, again, as reality is ultimately neutral, choice isn't a manifestation of that. Choice allows you to have positive or negative perspective, as well as to choose a positive or negative pathway. It is, in a sense, Source's gift to all of you in this particular universe that you have choice. And the choice to move in that direction of integration, of the positive connective energy that comes to show you that while you are an individual being, you are a part of all that is, not separate from it, one with it, and able to, in a sense, dissolve into the ocean, yet still remain a drop. Thus, you have that choice, or you have the choice to, in a sense, disconnect, to become not just individual, but fiercely individual, and attempt to disconnect yourself from others and disconnect yourself from Source. It is a gift that you are also able to choose that if that is what you would like. Now, choice as it translates into your relationships is a gift of unconditional love as well. Because, again, limiting that choice, limiting the potential outcomes is inherently negative. Negative energy, again, disconnects or separates. So when you make agreements that disconnect you from your choice, it is a negative act that prevents you from seeing all of the potential pathways and outcomes. Thus, you will know that if you, in relationship, rob somebody of their choice, limit them in all that they could potentially choose, it tends to make them want those things that they are not able to choose. You see it, of course, very clearly with children who are in a phase of their life where choice is extremely important. As, again, choice correlates with, more than anything else, the solar plexus chakra. And those from age 14 to 17 are exploring the development of their solar plexus chakra. Every 7 years, you engage more primarily with the development of one chakra. Thus, teenagers are highly rebellious, not because that is their inherent nature, but because the area of their exploration is the solar plexus, which is all about making choices, being individual, having preferences, deciding for oneself, having personal power and autonomy. But instead of teaching young people how to foster that, instead, you tell them they will do this or tell them they will do that, or you others gradually will still offer choice, but will also offer or demonstrate value systems and, in a sense, point to the fact that you will be happier with some of their choices than with others, rather than the higher vibration and newer understanding that what you really must celebrate is the growth of other people, is their ability to make choices and make those choices independently and independently experience the consequences of those choices so that they can learn lessons in the very best way. That does not mean you do not offer them your lessons, but it does mean that you suspend your value judgments and let people learn for themselves and let people have their own values as to what they really wish for. Again, when people are given free choice, they will not, in a sense, seek the pathway that they are not able to go on. It is, again, that natural tendency. If you know or are told that you cannot have something, if you are limited so that that thing is just out of your reach, you will want it much more. Thus, by taking choice from anyone, you activate the tendency in them to rebel, to go against, to act out. And this negative act of robbing others of choice, again, diminishes that quality of unconditional love and will, in a sense, create very toxic dynamics. So it is this integration of choice that allows you all to be independent agents, but actually, as you become, in that sense, more independent, you will choose to become more connected with each other gradually, as you will have greater autonomy, you will have the ability to learn from the choices that you make, and you will feel free, and in that freedom, choose connection, because connection simply will feel better. Whereas, again, connection that is forced is not the same as a positive connection. The negative act of forcing something to happen can seem as if it is a true connection, but ultimately, because it is founded on negative energy, it will have a negative outcome.
That is wonderful. Thank you.
Our thanks to you. Yes.
Well, another question came up in the chat. If the universe is based or made of unconditional love, how can it only be slightly positive?
Because again, unconditional implies the choice between positive and negative. Positive and negative energy exists here. And that means unconditional love still loves the negative. There are no beings without love in this universe because all of this is composed of love. There are only beings that disconnect themselves from the source of love, source itself. Thus, because all beings are still made of love, these beings who choose to separate from source will have to receive this energy of love from other separate beings and, in a sense, keep themselves in a more parasitic engagement. Whereas, again, the option to directly connect with source's love is always there. And that love is unconditional and is an ever-giving fountain of energy. Though, because, again, you can choose anything in this reality, there will always be as much negativity as there is positivity. It might not be your experience, but that negativity will exist somewhere out there as part of this universe. Unconditional love, again, here means it's so unconditional. Beings do not need to receive that love or understand it as love in order for the love to be present. You can do anything with this energy of love. And some of those things that you do with this love are negative. But it is still love. We hope that clarifies this.
It seems so. All right, then. Thank you. Mahalo. Go at it.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Hi.
yes.
Nice to be talking to you again.
Yes, it's our pleasure.
Great. So I have a few questions. I've got a couple of personal questions and a couple of general questions. So in no particular order, here's my first question. Together with the channel, you are creating a really phenomenal book that might interest many people. Can you advise if and when you see wider interest and any practical changes that might be needed to adapt to many people being interested?
Oh, we are guiding the channel in the compilation of this book. And there are many ways that you can come to fine-tune the audience reach through the various social media platforms. The way that this material will really get out there is through those of you who integrate the material and benefit from it, transforming and sharing how you have grown through it. So word of mouth is one of the most powerful means of expression. So we encourage all who enjoy this work to share about it, knowing that many people might benefit from the expansion that is possible through integrating these universal understandings.
Yes, thank you. I already have people noticing changes in me from the perspective that comes from this book. So that's why I'm asking, because I'm surprised that somebody said, wow, you know, you've changed, you're involved in this project, it must be really good.
Yes.
Okay, I have another question, which is that I want to
right.
be, in a way you already answered this in your talk, so maybe we can move into that. I want to be more clear about my highest passion, because before I was doing music, I was doing art. Today I thought I'll do writing. And honestly, I've done all of these before and I've made wonderful creations, but I've not found support. And so your question is, what do I believe about myself? And I have to say that I think I'm feeling unworthy of this being successful, any of it. I think it doesn't matter, art, music, writing. I think I have something where I have a belief that I can do something great and it will not get into the world. That seems to be it.
Somebody can create an elaborate sand sculpture out on the beach and witness the process and, in a sense, get lost in it as it is their highest excitement. It can enrapture them and they can create this elaborate piece, and in the reflection of their creation, get to see something about themselves that they have never seen before, get to understand themselves at a higher level. And all of a sudden, the ocean comes to destroy the sand sculpture. Is that a success or is that a failure? You tell us.
Well, there was in the questions for the book this week, until the questions for the book, I've been involved in human design, which says that just create and throw it away, because the psychological benefit of creating is so great. But frankly, that doesn't mean everything that you create is of value to yourself or to other people. You said something the other day where you said, no, we're creating to share ourselves with other people, and it all has value. It has to be shared. And I thought, oh, right. So that's where I mean, for many years, I've just created and thought, it doesn't matter. It's the creation that makes me well, that makes me healthy, that helps me. And then I may have misunderstood what you said, but I thought you're saying that our creation is for other people. It's to share with other people.
It is when you want it to be shared. Though understand that, again, in this metaphor or example we've shared, when you create, you learn something about yourself. And you cannot help but share yourself. You are always sharing yourself. So in a sense, you live the fruits of your creative efforts every day. And even if you do not share perhaps every piece of writing that you share with others, that you create with others, you do share the way that you transform by transforming and by being a new version of yourself.
Exactly. I mean, you said a moment ago, it's through our own being that we will spread the word of the book, but of what you're saying. It's by us and how we are.
Yes.
And I'm starting to find that, you know, some people are noticing that I don't know, more together in some way. I'm not really aware of it, but I'm having the feedback from other people about this. And then again, it is true. You say, what belief do I have about myself? I think, you know, as you say that, and I look at the question, I think, well, yes, I think I do have a belief that I can create something, but it's not but the world's not going to appreciate it. I think there's a belief. I think it might be mistaken. I think I should, you know, before you have said, maybe I should have the ego to put it in people's faces and say, you know, here we are, this is great, aren't I great?
Yeah.
And I don't have that belief
And
about me.
not everyone who likes one song you write will like every song you write. Not everyone who likes the songs you create will like the writing. Thus, you've jumped to conclusions about your output because it was not received at first. In a sense, that has left the impression of the belief that has become, in some ways, self-fulfilling prophecy. But in having, again, non-resistance to however people react to you, and trusting in the trial and error process of sharing yourself and allowing it to be an experiment, and knowing that eventually you will find your niche, or rather your niche will find you, you can, again, relax into the process and know that, again, even if only one person receives it and enjoys it, it is a success. Even if that one person who receives it and enjoys it is you, it is a success. So with the foundation of that attitude, which you have already done some work to cultivate, then you can be very unconditional in your sharing. And again, that unconditional love with which you share being a way that you come to embody source. And thus, by sharing without conditions on whether or not what you share is received, and having a foundational belief in your worth, whether or not you see your worth reflected in the present, this process will accelerate greatly and you can have even more success with it.
Right. Thank you very much. There is one thing that is possibly, there's one thing possibly related, so I'll go straight into it. In the past couple of days, I've lost or had broken or damaged mains cables for gadgets, for, you know, the iPhone, for the computer, lost, broken, damaged, and then repeated. Yeah. So as my world around me is a reflection of me, I'm trying to interpret this coincidence and what it may say about me and my power cable, my lost power. I'm trying to work this out. Could you assist me?
Could you play with this under this as a reflection of perhaps a belief or an attitude that you are breaking your connections? You are breaking your connection to the source of power, and that you need to fortify and make and establish new connections with your source of power.
When you say my source of power, are you talking to the source, or like a solar plexus chakra, or what kind of source of power am I looking at there?
Both.
Okay. Okay, no. Well, it was so immediately one after the other that I thought this is something that I pay attention to. I've not yet fully solved it.
In what way might you be blocking your own connection to your source of power?
I can't see it. That's possibly why it's come to me, is that it's something I'm not seeing. And I don't want to lose any more cables. I got that part of the message, but I don't really.
In an attitude of insistence, you block source power from being with you. understand that you don't need particular outcomes to feel the power of source in the now and the present. And when you can unconditionally experience the unconditional love of source, regardless of the outcome, you will be in greater connection to source's power.
Okay, thank you. As you speak, I'm simultaneously getting other sensations and interpretations as well in the vibration of your words. So thanks very much. That's helped an awful lot.
Yes, thanks to you as well.
Hello, Pleiadian Council. May I ask a question, please?
Yes.
So recently I've had a very transformative experience with some healing guides and teachers. And I have been invited to return and continue to work with them. And I very much want to do this.
Yes.
However, the timing of it, talking about synchronicity, the timing of it is in conflict with my current project in Hawaii. And if I'm hoping that maybe you can help me navigate how I can, or how I can navigate to do both, or maybe this is a symbol or a sign that I should not do both and make some choices about how what I should be doing next. Thank
Which
you.
pathway is more exciting for you?
Right now, surprisingly, the Hawaii project is not as exciting. The healing path is more exciting.
Then you might be being redirected.
Okay.
So again, part of truly following this formula is being open to endings and new beginnings every step of the way. As soon as something becomes less exciting than something else, the new higher excitement is the path of least resistance.
Is it also possible that both might be in my highest passion? Because I'm still quite passionate about the Hawaii project.
Yes. Though what you might be seeing is that you could come to be less involved than you have been in that particular project.
Okay. Yes, that's beginning to reveal itself even in the last few days. I understand.
So
any other?
Be careful of ways that you might give yourself away to other people.
Yes,
again, all of Source's power exists within you. All of the worth that you will ever have, you already have. You never achieve worth by helping other people, but there is a tendency to attempt to prove your worth by having your worth validated by others. This is not the same as dismantling the belief in your lack of worth. It is actually a band-aid. When you get the reward of other people's approval, you cover up the wound of that negative belief. Thus, following your passion is different because you validate yourself through the experience of passion. As you are able to maintain that frequency, the universe reflects to you the fact that you are worthy. Thus, by finding the ways that you are grappling with that negative belief and attempting to fix it rather than directly working to dismantle it, you can see the ways that you lose energy by fishing for approval, by fishing for that notion from the external that would prove that you are worthy rather than proving yourself that you've always been worthy by being passionate.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Our thanks to you as well.
Thank you. My love to you.
Our unconditional love to you as well.
I have another question if no one else is jumping in. Okay.
It appears no one else is jumping in.
So my question is about the name council. In what sense are you a council?
Yes.
And I'll say that where I come from, the council take the taxes and collect the rubbish, and then they're very corrupt. They take bribes and they do things against the public interest. They're very bureaucratic. So this word council, I'm uncomfortable with the word council. So please explain how you're a council.
While it is spelled the way it is spelled, it is both in the sense that we are a council in the way that you are reflecting now, that we are, in a sense, representing a sort of authority of our kind, the group of beings that work together in our world to contact other worlds. Because not every being from our world is, in that sense, a contact enthusiast. It is simply some of us who are very interested in it, and thus the beings that the channel connects with, and that many of you connect with, are appointed to reach out and connect with your world. Again, counsel also means that we counsel you. We provide support to you. So it does mean both things.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. And
I have a. Oh, go ahead.
we will address your question and just add the final comment that look at the negative beliefs that you have towards the idea of counsel or authority, because not every council in your world is as corrupt and negative as some of them are. Okay, let's continue.
Yes, I had a question in regards to the transmission today and synchronicities, tying them to, I guess, the meaning that we may place upon them, in terms, for me in particular, around, let's say, money, or perhaps, I don't want to use the word luck, but here's the situation. I see 777 often, and I
Yes.
have a friend who also sees the same. And we started talking about this amongst each other and just kind of talking about what could these meanings be. And I do tend to try to attach meanings to things. So your transmission was very resonant and powerful today, and I will be reflecting on it further. However, as part of enjoyment, I like to go to casinos or play slot machines, or even like bingo, things like that, where there is seemingly luck involved. And I'm curious because there has been this 777 kind of attached to that situation for me. I have seen those numbers and let's say won money that day. So it started to form this relationship to maybe winning money, or to this luck situation. And I just wondered how, after hearing that things are mostly neutral, however, in the realm of of luck and casinos, people are very superstitious, let's say. And oftentimes the things that they do, maybe ritually, whether it be having like a lucky object or whatever that may be, actually comes true for them.
Yes.
So is this notion of, let's say, like I just had a birthday and was at a casino and a lady next to me won a jackpot, is that completely neutral as well? Or is there something to it? Because there's even, like, for my birthday, I received a candle that's considered a money candle for kind of trying to manifest actual cash into your life. So do these sorts of things have a true effect? Is it completely all lucky or not, or neutral, I should say? Yes, can you speak to
yes.
this?
So are you familiar with the idea that we describe as permission slips?
Yes.
So a permission slip is a ritual, practice, tool, or system of this nature that gives you permission to be in a positive state or to access a particular frequency. The idea then being that your beliefs help you to use that tool to generate a particular outcome. Thus, as you use that, it literally helps you enter that state. And it is not the thing itself, but your belief that supports your use of the thing as a tool to get you into a resonant state. And then in that resonant state, you attract a positive outcome. And that's why all of these permission slips will work. And also why the signs are not to be taken as literally as I saw the sign, therefore it is going to happen. But I saw the sign that is a permission slip for me of being in a positive energy state. Therefore, as 777 for you represents luck, when you see that, that is actually reflecting that you are in a positive state. And with that reinforcement that you are in a positive state, you can know that by maintaining that positive state and following your passion, you will likely receive positive outcomes. If you have a different permission slip for a negative state, witnessing that can reflect to you the truth that you're in a negative state, so you can anticipate negative outcomes. And in both of these situations, what is implicit is unless you change your frequency. And that is why sometimes individuals will see what is a positive synchronicity for them and actually get attached to the idea that something positive must happen. So the idea is, again, being non-attached will help you return to neutral, and from neutral, choose positive. And the same is said about the negative synchronicity. If you use that to help you understand that you're in a negative state and change your frequency back into a positive state, the negative synchronicity can be stripped of its value.
Yeah, that was very cool. Thank you.
Yes. And was there something else?
No, I think that I'm still contemplating. I guess I had a quick question on the negative, like what is just an example of when you say like a negative synchronicity or somebody that determines, I guess it could be anything, a gloomy day or something. Maybe they think, oh, something bad's going to happen because it's so overcast and gloomy today, or I just, yeah,
Yes.
didn't understand what a negative synchronicity looks like.
Well, a negative synchronicity is more of something negative that might happen in the flow. A synchronicity that you interpret in a negative way, which is more than what we were pointing to, is a sign or an omen that somebody interprets as bad luck. Again, those omen level synchronicities are more reflecting that one is in a negative state.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Both of them are essentially reflecting the reality of being in a negative state or having a negative perspective. And they are in that sense still supportive, as synchronicity is always supportive, in helping you become aware of what state you're in. Remember that reality is constantly a reflective mirror of your inner state. And all of this will become a lot more self-explanatory when you have your relationship with reality defined in such a way that what happens is simply reflecting your inner state of being.
Interesting. So there's nothing happening for me particularly, or those attachments to meaning that I may want to give things are not about the meaning coming from outside of me at all. But more of a sense of me needing to just witness what is already happening within me.
Yes, correct. It is entirely the meaning you create within yourself. And that meaning is you realize that you yourself are creating the meaning.
Somehow I must have a belief system of,
your internet connection is breaking for us a little bit.
can you hear me now?
Ashit, there's a problem with the host. I'll try and contact him. Mexico internet connection, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Is it Chandler back? Okay. The
Oh
connection
yeah, how long was
dropped
it
in a
going?
moment. Just 5 seconds.
Okay. Did the last thing I was saying come through?
No, the last thing we heard was that they mentioned the connection was breaking up.
Oh, okay. Then everything came through. Okay. Let me go back into that. All right, let us continue.
Hi, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, yes.
I can read some questions from the YouTube, if you would like.
Yes.
There is a question from Elizabeth. She is asking, I am observing that the veil is lifting on the lies and corruption. How can we assist to do this? And how can we support others who are consumed and invested in the narrative and change the mass formation to that of love and connection?
Could you read that again? We had an interruption.
Yes, the first part or the second?
All of it.
All of it. Okay, I'll just separate it in two parts. I am observing that the veil is lifting on the lies and corruption. How can we assist to do this?
Yes. You can simply reflect the truth by sharing the truth in all the ways that you can, in, again, the ways that you're capable of. For example, we don't speak of things that would cause us to lose the power of our voice, or our voice through the channel, because in a sense that causes unnecessarily level of restriction. So yes, share the truth, and share it in ways that you can avoid the ways that there are limitations being put on you now. Know that your truth is more powerful. Know that, for example, they cannot cover up the amount of protests and the amount of revolt that is happening in your world, and will increase as time goes on. So continue to stand for it without putting yourself in danger, as it is not of use to put yourself in danger. And by doing that and living through the formula, you will certainly see that there is a return to even greater freedom coming in your world over the coming years.
Thank you. And her second question is, how can we support others who are consumed and invested in the narrative and change the mass formation to that of love and connection?
The best thing beyond sharing your truth is additionally having no attachment, no insistence to these individuals changing or not. Recognize that they have choice in what they believe and in which information they consume. They have choice in whether or not they integrate the understanding of their freedom or not. If you demand that they change, it is similar to the way that others are demanding that you change. And you can note through this example that the more there are demands and restrictions, limitations, the more it causes people to rebel against. So in attempting to free people that are not choosing to be free, you are in a sense wasting your energy and wasting theirs as well, because that is not their choice. In some senses, limitation serves them by diminishing the freedom that they don't want to have. So let it be okay for them. Let it be okay that they experience whatever consequences of their own ignorance. And in that sense, then you have more energy freed up to do whatever you want to do, whatever is truly exciting for you. Because again, it is the energy of following your passion and being in a higher frequency that is going to leave the greatest impact on your world.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks to you.
Hello, Great Council. How are you feeling?
Hello, yes. Oh, we are fantastic.
Awesome. Hey, mind if I ask a question?
Yes.
Going back to the subject of following our highest excitement, and I've noticed that with, it may be a personal thing, but I've noticed that with some of my friends as well, that our internal dialogue has kind of been rather co-opted by the social dialogue or some of the stuff that we were interacting with media. And I was wondering if there was any tips to rebalancing this inner dialogue for something a tad bit more, well, way more positive, fun, playful. Would you have any kind of practices that you could recommend?
We're sorry, we lost the connection again.
It's okay. The Chandler is not on camera due to the disconnection that happened.
We understand.
Okay,
Can you repeat the question?
okay. I've noticed that me and some of my friends have had influenced from media when it comes to our internal dialogue, which often led them to, you know, either neutral, stale, or negative inner dialogue. Would you have any kind of recommendation of practices to rebalance that internal dialogue for a much more positive, fun, playful type of flow?
Yes. So understand in this present situation what the corrupt leaders are doing is playing upon negative beliefs people already hold about themselves. It is understood at some level that many individuals have negative beliefs in their own essential badness, you could say. Thus, one of the main ways that people are controlled is by being shamed with the idea that they are a bad person if they don't play along. So there is a massive healing taking place because there is so much negativity being poured out by all of these platforms. And this is bringing people in touch with their own sense that they are wrong, bad, or unworthy. So experiencing these inner dialogues is a sign that one is getting deeper in touch with themselves and their own negativity. Understand that what you are hearing is not necessarily the voice outside of you, but the way that, again, you've internalized that voice. And these inner voices are being activated in extreme senses because you have learned this inner negativity from a very young age. So your work is really to dismantle those voices and those beliefs that say that you are bad or unworthy and reclaim your goodness.
That is awesome. There may have been an interesting proxy experience the prior night where, while going or drifting into sleep, there was just a subtle idea of having, I don't know, it's as if there was a subtle idea of connecting with source or having a dialogue with source. And
Yes.
in that split second, it felt quite amazing. Yet I admit there was some, you know, prior momentums which drifted the conversation either into an aspect of not necessarily believing that split second had happened or not having practiced it long enough to keep it.
Yes. Though, notice if you're unable to sustain this connection or any connection for that matter, it's because an attachment or an insistence gets activated that shuts it down. So because you are source is literally always available to you. and you are able to have that connection to your own higher self or source because you raise to a higher frequency. And thus you can feel that happening, and then you can feel the moment that insistence kicks in, that you break the connection. This can show you simply how dangerous insistence really is. And by cultivating then an attitude of true non-insistence that is okay with everything happening or not happening, then it is easier to maintain connections once they are formed.
This beautifully links back to what was explained earlier. It links back to something that happened. I had a similar event, a reaction similar to Mahalo, when the energy kind of gets high on a specific idea, then some old, or now I playfully call it some effing old belief kind of pops in, an insistence on it selling or it working out. So now I see it's something to kind of just clear out in progress, or sitting with the emotion, right?
Yes. And many people will find that they have very much momentum in any creative endeavor up until the point that they get closest to the outcome. Once they get close to the outcome, the insistence kicks in and then manifests as some degree of self-sabotage. Even if that self-sabotage is an impulsive behavior leading to a negative synchronicity, it is still, again, a manifestation of that energy of insistence. And this is why dropping insistence is key, and why work like meditation has been so common in different traditions for many thousands of years. It is in that meditation that one can come to feel that their vibration, as you have come to put it now, is not dependent on external factors at all. And that it is the inner attitude of openness and allowing that will allow one's vibration to reach the highest possible levels.
That is quite remarkable. It's interesting, and I find it funny because at times, even when going into meditation or even visualization, going on the train of an idea and not even getting to the first step, but at times just these old beliefs of insistence kind of popping up. So yeah, being able to kind of thwart them in those visualizations period would be fantastic, because at that point the energy can just continue to flow. Would you have any kind of I guess maybe you've spoken about this before, but and maybe that's a bit of a testament to some of the negative beliefs I still have to clear up, but would you have any kind of, let's say, list of processes, maybe permission slips, or even something to do in a repetition motion in order to clear off that kind of idea of insistence? It's been quite anchored through our school system and social system. So at times it just activates without a consciousness. And even that's not necessarily saying the entire truth, because you're conscious of it because you feel the feeling. The negative gut solar plexus reaction kicks in, yet it's as if it is deemed normal by the conscious system, but it's not. So would there be any kind of repetition practice that could help us dislodge this, this habit, this behavior?
As we've said, meditation is very helpful. Meditation that works with some inner awareness of some part of your body, focus on mantra, focus on breath, focus on visualization. All of these forms of meditation bring you into your inner reality and get you to, on some level of experience that your inner reality is more potent and powerful than the outer reality. Now, there are many permission slips you can use when you feel the insistence cropping up in the moment. And what is more important than any tool is to simply be aware of that energy of insistence. You can discover this in meditation clearly as when you experience a negative emotion or negative sensation and you insist that it changes, you will gradually with time start to see how your insistence increases and enhances the negativity, whereas your acceptance of it diminishes it. And that is why this permission slip is very useful. You can thus extend that understanding into your daily life, noticing when you experience resistance, that the resistance is worse than the experience itself. You can understand that you can have a neutral experience of what this event is. Working with a symbol like the yin yang is very helpful, as it helps you to understand the dual nature of reality, and through that dual nature, the neutral nature of reality. And so the last thing we'll say again is, with that fundamental awareness that all is essentially neutral, that brings you and grants you the most fundamental access to non-insistence, as it will allow you to know that even when you don't get what you want, what you experience is neutral, and it is only your own mind's distortion of the event that frames it in a way that you experience as negative.
That was wonderful. Thank you. It's, yeah, definitely we'll work on this.
And our thanks to you. Is there anyone who has not yet asked any question that would like to do so? All right.
I can read a question from YouTube.
All right, yes.
There is a question from Gaia's baby. She's asking, what do you imagine mass contact to be like?
Mass contact.
Yes, I would say mass, public, something like this.
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, mass contact in the way that we will allow it to happen, first of all, implies small scale contact. Understand that few will be ready before many are ready, and you will be granted the experience of contact. And many of you already have experiences of contact, but and you might be insisting that contact appears differently. Again, this is a form of contact. You see ships in the sky, that is a form of contact. When you get downloads from us, that is a form of contact. When you have dreams of us, that is a form of contact. And appreciating the forms of contact that are already active will deepen your experience of contact. Now, you will then come to have greater contact and even meet us physically at some point. Likely the first of you will have that experience in this decade. And then in terms of massive open contact, there will first of all be disclosure of the fact that few are having the contact. That will make others aware of the energy that is present. And many people will, in the same sense, have to go through phases of contact in the same way that you are going through your phases of contact. You might have first learned about channeling or about crop circles or about the experience of abductees before you were aware of the fact that you had the same connections or you had the same experiences. And in the same way, many others will have to gradually be woken up into this understanding. By the time that mass contact takes place, most people on your planet will be made aware of extraterrestrial life and comfortable enough in their own terms with it that it will not be a shock to their system. Because again, we cannot at this point come into your reality until the masses are ready. So it will take some time, and your planet will already be at a much greater level of peace and equanimity by that time. And our arrival will bestow a greater sense of wonder, unification, and peacefulness when you come to understand that there are other beings out there that are peaceful, despite their dissimilarity to you. Your own wars that you make amongst each other all on the same planet will make a lot less sense to you, and you will gradually diminish your conflicts, and it will signal a great era of peace and the gradual deconstruction and reconstruction of those systems and structures in your world that you deem toxic.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks to you as well. Let us conclude with a final meditation.
We may have one last question from a recent arriver.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
So thank you for waiting for me. So I want a precision, more detail. When we are in the middle of a crisis and we're experimenting it, if we deal with it, does it have a result on the next hour timeline perspective?
Does it have results in the next timeline?
I want to know if when we are feeling or having a crisis, if we deal with it at this moment, does it have a repercussion? Does it change the next hour timeline?
Yes, it does.
Okay, for better?
Yes, if you deal with it in a positive way, that is. It really depends how you deal with it.
Okay. So positive means identify and let it let him go, or let it do his stuff.
Yes. Well, when you say crisis, that can mean a lot of different things. In terms of a crisis where there is an accident, injury, or loss, you have to be in the moment and deal with those material resources and shift the situation, heal the injury, fix what is lost, and so on and so forth. But there are often, and you might be referring to, emotional crises. And it is important to realize within those emotional crises that there might not be a genuine urgency. So the most important thing to do is to assess, is this truly urgent? Do I actually need to take immediate action? Because oftentimes in the emotional crisis, what one really needs to do is, again, direct their awareness inwards to go through that process of transformation, self-love, and acceptance, and to potentially reach out to supportive others, whether those be other humans or spirit guides, to make oneself available to support, and reflective counseling can help in getting through that process.
Okay, it's about getting through in that process. Okay, I understand. Yes. Okay, quickly, the time is shifting so much fast. A few weeks ago, the reality was talking about time bumps. Now it's disappeared, and Basha is talking about meeting ET. A few weeks ago, it was 2040, the time. So how it's possible it's moving so fast? Now Bashar is saying it's soon. The meeting will start sooner.
Yes. It is because you are in times of immense flux. You attract based upon the state of your excitement and the state of your non-insistence and the way that you, again, follow the formula to the best of your ability. And the timeline that you are generating changes instantaneously. When you are in that state of lower vibration, you instantly start attracting lower vibrational experiences. When you are in the state of higher vibration, you start attracting higher vibrational experiences. And because, again, your planet is shifting together collectively to a higher vibration, there is the process of catalyzing dense, stuck, negative beliefs held at a collective level. The further you move into the positive, the more the dense negative beliefs get brought to the surface. And again, for a moment, you shift to the negative timeline. You shift back and forth and back and forth, and gradually you come to find some stability in it. But again, note that every shift that you make and every shift you make as a planet is going to affect the future trajectory quite possibly. But no matter what happens, you will always have the ability to get back on the track to a more positive timeline if you wish.
Okay, it's absolutely amazing because you say we shift in each instant and we sense nothing. So it's amazing. Thank you for your point of view, for your feedback, and for where you stand and you see us. And I very appreciate your species, very understanding the insight of very detailed what we feel. Thank you so much.
Oh, great. Thanks and love to you as well. And now let us offer you this closing meditation process. Begin by closing your eyes, feeling your feet firmly planted in the ground, seeing roots of light that grow out from your heart and down, out through the base of your spine and out through your feet. See these roots of light grow down through the Earth's crust and wrap around the crystals, minerals, and metals of the planet. See them go deeper through the underground streams of water, the magma, the molten core of the Earth, all the way down to the solid crystal center of the planet. Feel the center pulsating and emanating a great, deep and potent vibration. Bring that vibration through your roots and into your body. Feel it rising up through your feet, rising up through your legs, rising up through your belly and chest, filling your whole body up into your head and arms. Picture around your body the great crystal chamber of light. And see it stretching up all the way to the galactic center. See great light pouring out from this galactic center and traveling down through all of the stars connected to the Galactic Alliance in your solar system. See it pouring down from your sun and traveling into your body as an immense brilliant light that enters your crown chakra and moves out through your whole body. Allow this energy to support you in entering into a visionary astral plane experience. See yourself out on a great beach, walking along the shore, feeling your toes in the sand. Out in the distance, you see a figure that is one of your guides or a group of your guides. These guides will help you with a creative project. Walk closer and closer to them until you can come to see their faces clearly. Allow your guides to show you some resources or tools through which together you will create an art project there in the sand. Work together with them to perhaps draw a picture, create a sculpture, a castle, or something entirely different. There with whatever resources they have for you. Notice in your creation, what does it reflect back to you? Simply as you engage this inner creative process, what can you come to see about your own preferences for creation? What does it reveal to you about yourself? In that process, notice now, a wave comes and takes the entire project away. All of the work, all of the effort goes back out into the ocean, into the sea, and is consumed by it. Yet what you retain is the awareness of what you've learned in the process, that lesson, that reflection, that deeper understanding of yourself. Ultimately, nothing you create in this reality is permanent. All of this experience is there to develop your soul. You take none of it with you. Thus, in your life, know that your creations are for now, and your creations are for the way that you grow in the process of creating. Sometimes you will create something that many others will see, and sometimes you will create something that you will see only once. Yet what is retained by your soul is the growth of the creative process, is the deepening in the skills that you develop through your creative process. So surrender over the outcome and know that you yourself are the creative process of Source, and all of your creative processes are Source's creative process at work. Source creates as well as destroys, and thus nothing is forever, but all of the expansion and the growth of everything is eternal. And this is another example of the great paradox of life that can help you in going beyond the limiting constraints of your physical dimension to understanding the wonder and the paradox of higher dimensions. To be both here and there, to be both in the physical and surrendered to the spiritual, and thus uniting the worlds and embodying Source while here in creation. That is your task, and it is one of great joy if you allow it to be. For again, the choice you are given here is one bestowed with great love, unconditional love, and you yourselves are embodiment of that unconditional love. So be unconditionally accepting of yourself, and you will be more like Source, and Source will flow through you all the more effortlessly every step of the way. Our love and thanks to each and every one of you, and we look forward to our continued interactions on other planes and through this and other channels. We love you, and we hope you have a pleasant rest of your day. All right.
Wow.
Hi,
Welcome back.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank
Hope you guys had a
you.
beautiful
Thank
journey
you.
today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
It was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dante.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Cheers. Thanks.
Very welcome. So, wow. Sorry that my video went out at points there. I don't know, the internet connection is good and then not good, but I think you got to hear everything.
Yeah, we did.
I think so.
Cool. A reminder to everybody that the private live stream is tomorrow. It's $22 to $33 donation that you can send to the links at the top, and make sure you send me an email at dantestarshine@gmail.com and I'll send you the Zoom link, and you will also get the recording afterwards. And the private sessions and the channeling course and one-to-one programs are available as well. And you can anticipate the book being ready by sometime between, I would say, the beginning of 2022, but who knows? Potentially sooner.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Some people who are in the group here have been helping with the book.
Wow. Hey, how's it dealing over in Mexico, by the way?
How's it what?
How's everything over there?
Oh, good. I had, you know, all of the details of life have slowly sorted themselves out. I found a good enough place to live, and enjoying reconnecting with people. And I don't know, I've still been busy doing sessions and work in the days. So, hola, gracias. I haven't been as fully like in it as I can be. But look, I was able to do the transmission from right here. So that in itself is pretty much a blessing.
Wow.
And there's efforts being had to buy a community land here and live here more of the time than not. Obviously, I'm gonna be moving around this world. Was the sound of the ocean coming through in the transmission?
No.
No? That's funny.
Looks wonderful, really.
How far away from the beach is your new place?
Like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. I'm at a restaurant.
Oh, now
So,
it comes
yeah.
true.
And do
Oh
you
yeah, I mean, what was that?
Are you walking? Is that your main form of transportation, walking?
In town, but then there's another town that isn't. I'm in the other town now. It's like, would be like an hour, 45 minutes walking. So I just take, like, they call it collectivo, or like shared public transportation. So you hop on one of those, it's about 50 cents and it gets you from one point to the other.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, anyone who's still watching, I can, I guess, randomly talk about things. The channeling course will start again whenever we have enough people sign up for a group channeling program. I'm kind of like really overdoing a launch and to get people by a certain date. So when there are, I would say, minimum 3 to 4 people that are interested in doing the full program, we can bring a group together. And it is very powerful as a group experience, but it can be done one-to-one as well. And it's not just channeling, like some people think that, oh, like they're going to have to start channeling entities by doing this, but channeling is the same mechanism of intuition, really. It's like the same skill set we can use to be able to interpret reality around us or get in touch with different aspects or belief systems within ourselves or within others. So it's really fine-tuning our sensitivity and learning to use that sensitivity as a strength. And also it involves like a deep work on ourselves, because in order to be channels or to hold healing frequencies for other people, we have to kind of go through that process in ourselves. So it's an initiation, and I'm offering that program on a one-to-one level as well. And I can take one extra student at this time to do it one-to-one over 2 or 3 months. So if that's interesting to you, you can contact me as well, and we can talk about it.
I have
Thank
to
you,
go.
Carol. Much
Thank
love
you.
to you as well. Bye-bye.
As always, see you soon. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Ciao, everyone.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Ciao.
Have a great one, and thank you again.
For tomorrow, Dante, we send you PayPal money and then email you stating that we sent it to get the link.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
if you could also put your email in the PayPal comments, and then I'll just reply to that email.
Okay.
But if you just send me a PayPal without the email in the comments and without an email, I have had some of those getting lost before. So either email me with the PayPal or put your email in the PayPal comment, and I will get you the link.
Yay.
Yep. Look forward to seeing you then. Okay, well, I'm gonna get going. I have a call for a class that I am taking in half an hour. So gonna walk about and chill until then, but I hope to see everybody again soon. And thank you again for tuning into these transmissions. And if you benefit from them, if you'd like to share them to others, that you know that's a great way of helping this vibe continue to reach new people. Much love, many blessings on this day, and thank you for co-creating this new earth reality by being beings of love, bliss, and power. Catch you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
See you, and thank you again. Have a great one.
You too. Bye.